Welcome, fellow board members, and thank you for the time to speak today. As most of you already know, I'm your Chief Information Officer, Bernice Morgan. Today I'm here to seek your approval for an important shift in our IT strategy. The issue is cloud computing. Our agenda includes background information on cloud computing, a comprehensive financial analysis of its implementation, and we'll conclude with a summary and recommendations. The primary reason for my presentation is to seek your support, but also to inform you so you can answer any questions within your own groups and so that you can incorporate this into your own departmental strategies. Strategies involving IT resource implementation and management have evolved over time. Gone are the days of mainframe centralized computers. They were replaced by PCs, which provided powerful and flexible desktop systems. Via the internet, viewers can now access programs and data that can be stored securely and accessed in real time almost anywhere in the world. Cloud computing includes centralizing data, programs, and applications. As a general rule of thumb, new implementation strategies can incur cutting over, running two systems in parallel, or phasing in. Cutting over directly may be cheapest, but is also risky. Running two systems in parallel is safest, but also least efficient and most costly. I recommend phasing in various aspects of cloud computing over time. Software as a service is the most widely applied cloud model, and therefore I'm recommending we start with that for our new initiative. This will allow us to gauge the success of cloud within our organization, develop best practices, and therefore help reduce any risks. In particular, since we will retain control of valuable corporate and customer data on our own secure servers, our exposure will be limited. As you can see, the main benefits from cloud computing include smoothing and reduction of administrative and managerial workloads, whereby seasonal and peak usage, upgrades, and other aspects of managing our IT resources are outsourced to a service provider. Outsourcing these non-revenue generating activities makes sense because it frees up our resources to focus on our revenue generating business functions. Disadvantages fall into two main groups. The first is the loss of control. The service provider will make decisions about software upgrades and similar issues, but the sense of a loss of control doesn't have a financial impact. But it's something we should prepare for via internal communications. The second disadvantage includes confidentiality, security, and regulatory issues. We have assurances regarding security from our service provider, and it will be part of their service level agreement. Plus, we're not giving them our data to start with, just running programs off their hosts, so the risk is very small. We're confident adequate security will be in place to address confidentiality and regulatory issues. To clarify what I'm proposing, our data will remain in-house on our own servers as before, at least in this phase. We can revisit putting data on the cloud later after we've established the applicability and benefits of cloud computing to our organization. For now, we're going to focus on putting programs on the cloud. This means users will be able to use an online portal to open programs such as Microsoft Office, as well as to access customer requests, inventory, and various other programs we use here at our business. The benefit is we will reduce our administrative costs by outsourcing the management of these programs to a service provider. Research of industry trends shows that utilization of cloud computing allows companies to refocus on their revenue-generating business. More resources can be devoted to activities such as research, product design, sales, customer service, and aspects of our value chain that will enhance our customers' experience and improve our revenue and growth. This can be done at a cost savings, since service providers are typically able to provide IT services more cheaply than non-IT companies can in-house on their own. The first part of this slide indicates the one-time capital investment portion of this project. We've broken the targeted programs into non-revenue and revenue-generating ones. Our provider indicates it will cost $5 million for them to assess our needs and build the required service portal. The second part of this slide shows annual savings over the duration of the contract, 6 years. It also shows new annual costs that will arise from the project. Netting these out indicates an annual cost savings of $1.5 million. So to summarize, if we spend $5 million up front on this project, we expect to save $1.5 million a year for the next 6 years. Here we use a combination of 4 evaluation methods to assess the project viability. The payback period is calculated 2 ways. Both calculations show, as expected, the same payback period, 3.3 years. We expect to recoup our original $5 million investment in the first half of the 3rd year. Using a discount rate of 10% yields a net present value of $1.5 million, making this an attractive project. In fact, the internal rate of return is significantly higher, 19.9%, which shows the project provides a very strong return on investment. The profitability index further confirms this at 1.8% of our net cost savings from this project are nearly double the expenditures involved. As indicated, we used 4 established methods to assess the project viability, and they all indicate we should proceed. Our new costs, the capital investment, and recurring annual fees have been guaranteed per the proposed service level agreement. In the next slides, we perform a sensitivity analysis on the areas of benefits and cost savings. We're confident our previous estimates, but recognize this is an area that has been estimated and is most vulnerable to variation. In the first scenario, we've allowed for cost overruns of $500,000 for implementation. This represents a 10% increase over our best estimates for retraining and similar one-time costs. This reduces our various performance assessments, but all 4 measures are still strongly favorable. For example, even with cost overruns of 10%, the project would still have a 3.7-year payback and a 16% internal rate of return. The previous slide showed essentially a worst-case scenario regarding implementation costs. Of course, we could get lucky and have better than expected results. This slide shows that if we're only slightly more successful at implementing our new project than expected, a $200 under budget, our performance assessment jumps significantly. In particular, the internal rate of return has increased to 22%, which would contribute positively to our firm's overall performance. In this last scenario, we show that even if we experience a 50% cost overrun in annual security administration, all indications are to proceed with this project. We have a 4-year payback on a 6-year project, positive net present value, good internal rate of return, and an attractive profitability index. To recap, we should commit to this project. We've performed a 3-scenario analysis that indicated the project is not very sensitive in a negative direction. Even with cost overruns, the project remains viable, but the project is strongly sensitive in a positive direction. If we're lucky and come in under budget, the internal rate of return and other measures increase significantly. The question becomes not whether to proceed, but how. We're recommending email and office applications, which are not revenue-generating business functions and are already standardized across industry. Revenue-generating business functions include policy administration, claims management, and billing, and these can be considered later, after we've established the success of cloud computing at our firm. That's the end of today's presentation. Here are listed additional references if you would like more information. Thank you for your time.